Before I get into the video, I just gotta say that if you guys are a fan of the series known as Seven Deadly Sins, then go ahead and subscribe to the channel known as Demon Reek. A link to that will be in the description down below. I will be uploading fire Seven Deadly Sins content just like I do for Hunter x Hunter over there. So if you guys like Seven Deadly Sins, go smash that subscribe button. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the video. So today I'll be doing a video discussing the next generation and why Hunter x Hunter will be getting a time skip for the series. Now, this is obviously talking if Togashi doesn't just run off and just go and just lives off of some far off island, because we already know he's finessing the system, he's finessing a check right now. This is all assuming if Togashi does come back and write the story seriously, and I do believe that if he does do that, we could get a huge Hunter x Hunter time skip that would have to involve a new generation. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because I believe the Dark Continent voyage will be a failure. Yes, the Dark Continent expedition will be a failure. And the reason why I do say this is because I think the Dark Continent will be too overwhelming. And there's multiple reasons why. Number one, the cast that they're taking is not the most equipped. Like, we know they're taking the Zodiacs, and it's already been confirmed that the Zodiacs, they aren't necessarily the strongest hunters. Like, we know that they're just the people that are handpicked, like handpicked by Netro due to their certain like characteristics. Like, we know Parison, he's not, I'm not saying he's weak, but he's obviously not going to be like, a stronger person in the series. But obviously, we know that some of them were scared to go to the Dark Continent, so I'm pretty sure just because they have Beyond Netro on their side that he won't be able to protect them all, unless Beyond Netro is really that OP. But you got to look at it like this. The Chimera Ants alone, yes, the B- Chimera Ants were able to fend off against some of the best hunters. Like, we know that P2 and all the other Royal Guards to this day, they're still looked at as some of the strongest characters. Like, I want to know who's giving Yuppie the work. Yes, Yuppie, that guy is a monster. Like, I think he can handle some of the top tiers of Hunter x Hunter today. He's only a B class. So the fact that they're going to go down there with S class, I do believe that with just the characters that they're taking and all that stuff, that it will end up in a failure, thus leading and them having to come back. But we all know that the main thing about hunters is that they never let their prey get out of sight. Yes, they never let their prey get out of sight, and they've been eyeing the Dark Continent for a while. Hell, another reason why I know that the Dark Continent is dangerous is because we know that Dawn Freaks, he's been writing a book for the Dark Continent. Yes, he's been writing a book for it, and it's so big that he hasn't even finished writing the other side. Like, he's done with the east side, but the west side, he can't even finish writing it. So, yo, we know that the Dark Continent is that massive, and there's going to be some crazy things down there. The next generation will definitely have to take that on. Now, I do believe that there will be a few people who come back from the voyage. Like, I don't think that Kurapika and them will get killed off. I think that he will make it back for sure. But I do think that all the other, like, older characters, they might end up dying. Like the Zodiacs, I think a lot of them will end up dying off too. And I definitely do think that Jing could end up dying on the Dark Continent as well. But as far as who would go there, I believe that Adult Gon and Adult Kite will go there. Yes, Adult Gon and Adult Kite will go there. And at this point, I do believe that these two will be something by then. Yes, call me crazy, but I do believe that this will be a little couple, because I think it's basically known just because Kite, he was basically reborn as a girl, and the fact that it was a Chimera Ant and she's basically Miriam's twin sister, I think it's all setting up for an OP little freaks baby to be born. Yes, I do think it's all setting up for that, because we saw how stressed it was that Miriam was going to basically reproduce with Komugi, and that was a concept that was basically brought up and stressed in the Chimera Ant, the concept of the Ant King reproducing, but it never was shown. And the fact that we basically have a twin sister of the Ant King, we know that now we have somebody who's going to have potential to be as strong as Miriam. And if she ends up mating with Gon, who we already know Gon, his potential is going to be crazy, that will be something spooky alone. So their child for the next generation will be crazy, but I do think that an older Gon and Kite will definitely be there to go to the Dark Continent. Now, I know some of you guys might look at me like I'm crazy, but Killua and Aluka. Yes, Killua and Aluka. Now, I'm not saying these two will be in a relationship or anything, because that is kind of like too close to family, but we know that these two aren't necessarily related. Not even necessarily. We know 100% that these guys aren't related. Yes, Aluka comes from the Dark Continent herself, although we do know that she basically was living with the Zoldyck family, but we see that these two, they're pretty close. Like, Aluka's always kissing Killua, like all this stuff, and we seen that Silva and Illumi, they all stress it to Killua. They tell her, yo, she's not family, she's not family. They keep telling Killua, don't look at her as family at all. Like, they said it, yo, you know the rule of the Zoldycks, how we can't kill family members? Well, just look at Luca as a stranger. Don't even think that the rule applies to her. So they've been stressing it that she is a stranger to Killua. So I'm not saying that these two will get together, but I do think there's a small chance. Not saying, I obviously don't think they're going to end up having, like, you know, a kid or anything, nothing like that, but I definitely do think that these two will stick by each other and they will venture off into the Dark Continent together, because Killua, he will want to help Aluka figure out everything about her past and all that stuff. So I definitely do think that Killua and Aluka, they will be there too. And the last main member of the Dark Continent that will join them is Zushi. Yes, Zushi will join them on their voyage to the Dark Continent. And Zushi, I believe that he will finally get his shine, because we saw in Heaven's Arena, he wasn't really putting in as much work as Gon and Killua. Don't get me wrong, he was still putting in work and he still showed why he was a GOAT. But during the Dark Continent, after he's trained, after he's got basically to his prime, I definitely do think that will be a Zushi that will be spooky to see. But that's basically it for this little video discussing the next generation of Hunter x Hunter and why I believe that these guys will be able to take a voyage to the Dark Continent once they're all in their prime. And if Togashi isn't lazy and if he decides to actually finish the series, the new generation will be something special. Comment what you guys see down below. Subscribe if you haven't. Peace out.